A very good day to you listeners. Welcome to the very first ever maVUTi Pulse podcast edition, capturing the best of student and staff life. My name is Tshepiso Kaibe, and with me today I'm not alone. I'm joined by my co-hosts Wandile Mhlongo and Tabisan Tabiapilo. With us today is the ever so graceful Miss Saneliso Mavuka. Miss Saneliso, how are you?
I'm good, I'm okay. It's quite chilly, but hey, we need to show up regardless.
All
okay.
right.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. Can't complain. Yeah, man, thank you for joining us today, and we hope to have a great chat with you.
Yes, so Miss Saneliso, can you just briefly share with us your journey, like your background?
Okay, all right. I'm Saneliso Mavuka.
Yes.
I'm a young lady in her 30s, born and bred in East London, in the Eastern Cape. Fast forward to that, I was raised there by my family, my mom and dad, and then I've got two siblings with my eldest brothers. The other one is part of the SAPS, working in the Northern Cape, and then the other one works for Parliament. He's a journalist in Cape Town. So I studied at Port Rex Technical High School, and then matriculated in 2008. Left Port Rex to try and pursue a career in quantity surveying in Johannesburg. And from that, I eventually got, disinterested in the whole quantity surveying thing. I was like, no, the career is not for me. Maybe I should do something in media and communications because I was just so passionate about that. And then I just couldn't get off the idea of the fact that I liked journalism, similar to what my big brother was doing. So fast forward to that, came to VUT. And then at VUT, unfortunately or fortunately enough, now when I look at it years later, there was no journalism. So they had an offering of public relations, which was even broader, and I kind of liked it because it was, kind of like a bigger variety of stuff that I could choose from, as it has got different specialization areas. Studied PR, diploma, then went into BTech. Then later on, I kind of had an interest in higher education. So I recently did my postgraduate diploma in higher education last year, graduated this year for that, and I'm currently studying my master's in higher education. So that's just
what an interesting journey. So you said that you had a thing for journalism, then you just transitioned to higher education. What inspired that? Because you had this passion for journalism, and if you can check the higher education, it's a different field.
I think it's all the years that I've spent doing public relations. Because from pursuing my public relations management, it was mostly inspired by communication, media, and trying to understand what it is to kind of shape communication and make it effective. I had this whole curiosity of what does it take to build a brand, and being reputable within a brand, and actually also drive engagement for people. So soon after that, my career and being employed at the radio station, which is a higher education space, kind of made sense for me to then do something in higher education, because I felt as though with PR and also having a course that I've done or qualification in education, I mean, combining the two would make me even at a much more, better stage in my life. Yeah. So that's where it stems from. So I'm hoping probably with deriving them all together and with my day-to-day job of what I do at the station, having education and PR it could only make sense for me to fuse the two.
All right. So you mentioned that you're a content coordinator at VTFM.
Yes.
For someone listening, how would you describe a day in the life of a content coordinator?
It's such a it's a very interesting one, very demanding, because with content coordination, you just do content. Yeah. It's from reading, from writing. You need to be creative. You need to try and be interested about what's going on in and around you, like community-wise. Also nationally, internationally, if it may so be. We write a lot of scripts on a day-to-day basis for what's said on radio. From interviews that we have on radio, we kind of like compile a whole entire show. Think of it as it's a radio show. As much as the audience is not able to see what's going on, unlike TV, with radio, you need to create it. So from building up a show, from the first hour up until the last hour, everything that gets done onto the show and every minute is what's important. So it's a compilation of that on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, then, as you just mentioned, we checked your portfolio and we saw that you are mentoring work-integrated learning students. So isn't much of a train smash having to add your daily job as a content coordinator and having to facilitate for you?
It's very gratifying. It's not even a train smash. It's gratifying to actually be able to give back, because I myself, post my diploma, I had to go through what we call work integrated learning. And funny enough, I actually did it at VUTFM, but at that time I was under the sales and marketing department, not the content department. So I was doing sales and marketing. So years later, to see myself actually being part of a person who coordinates for the very same students that I actually understand and I've been in their shoes is actually so rewarding, because it means as much as I'm taking out of the university, but I've been able to plow back within the university. So it's one of the most, I can say, the highlights and aspects of my career and what I'm doing at the moment. And also what's nice about it is to actually see students grow and develop skills from that, and also at a professional level be able to bring, satisfaction to seeing them grow within 3 months, and you're able to impart many skills. I mean, by the time they walk out of that station, they walk out totally different people from what they came as. Yeah.
True.
Yeah. So from what you said, is it safe to assume that you have a passion for community service?
I do have a passion for community service. I do have a passion for community service, and like a radio such as VUTFM, which not only represents campus but is also a community station, one of our biggest roles, and also I can say my commitment is driven by wanting to help the community, by wanting to impact knowledge and to make a difference in people's lives within the community. So I think I have a very big belief and a strong system of, if we are a vibrant community and we kind of build a collaborative effort to sustain a place and a nature in which we are a mouthpiece of the community, but as well as educate the community, come together and kind of help community develop, we're able to prosper. So there's so many things that we've been able to do as a radio station in terms of developing the community, from some of the projects we've done, campaigns that we do for our clients and also for people within the community. Also, we've been able to foster partnerships with community members into being part of stuff that they do. Also assisting the youth, that's another thing I'm very passionate about. The youth, the platform that we get to give the youth, not only our presenters and talents that we have at the station, but also youth that's out there in the communities who have their own businesses, they're starting out. Sometimes you just need that extra push. You might not have a financial muscle as a youth, a person who's young, starting off, but you need some sort of like motivation and a platform to actually, exposure and visibility to say, here I am, I represent a community of the Vaal, and I just need to be showcased so that people know what I'm about.
Right.
That's very interesting and very insightful. So now, what are the biggest challenges you have faced in your career thus far, and how have you overcome them? Because surely you're dealing with a lot.
Challenges. I can't think of any right now, but let me just make a typical example. It's been over a decade in the game, so thinking of one challenge.
And one wouldn't even notice.
It's over 10 years now, I've been counting. So it's not really a challenge, but I think there's something about the way I sound when I would be speaking to probably a client or a guest or whatever it is, or whoever probably, as opposed to when you see me. Okay. Number one, I'm a young woman. I'm in the education space. I'm a content coordinator. I've got people reporting to me, and then you get an opportunity to see me at face value. So it's always that whole thing of when I walk into a room, because majority of the time within the media space, we work with so many, prominent people who are way older than what I am. You walk into a room and then you start speaking and they're like, oh, okay, it's you. Oh, you look so small. Evidently so. You look so young and this, you know. So I think for me, the biggest challenge and something that is ongoing is I constantly always need to prove myself versus my age and what I'm capable of. Okay, because sometimes when you are young, it's always like, oh, what is she going to do or what? But when you start speaking, you start doing the work and getting the work done, that's only when they realize, well, oh, okay, it makes sense now why she's in that position. Yeah, so I would say it's the age, it's the height, it's probably
all of that.
Yeah, all of that, what you look like.
So, Miss Sanili, so do you have any favorite books or movies or TV shows that you enjoy in your downtime?
Ooh, I haven't had a downtime in like what? Like a few months. I haven't had like a downtime in a few months. I mostly read autobiographies. I think that's the one thing I like. I like books that have to do with people who are in leadership positions within South Africa. You know, like Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom, all of those things. If I'm reading on artists, it needs to be an autobiography. Yeah, but something that's out of the ordinary, it would be more of like your comic books. I'm liking that as well. I've been kind of introduced to a variety of motivational books through a feature we have on one of our shows on Saturdays. We've got a book feature that's doing so well on one of our breakfast shows, hosted by one of our presenter, Ayeza. So there, we actually showcase young authors in and around the Val who come to the show and who are writing books. You know, sometimes it's so costly actually developing a book that you need extra help. So we give them a platform to speak about their books, bring them, and we get to read them as well. They leave a copy for us, or copies, depending on how many of us are there in studio, and then we go back and read those books. So I've kind of stepped out of my outside, comfort zone in terms of reading autobiographies to say, let me just give the local talent a chance, and it's really quite good. It's really quite good. So I don't really have a favorite at the moment because the only books I get to read every day are research studies, academic research studies. So I haven't read in quite some time.
All right, so leading up to my favorite question, we see you're making waves currently. You are nominated for the Higher Education Women Leaders Awards, correct? How do you feel about that?
Sure.
How does it feel?
It's incredibly humbling and gratifying, mostly because of two reasons. And number one, I would say on a personal level, it's a clear depiction of growth that I never saw coming. It shows that the girl is working. Something is happening. Something is making sense. Yes. And at the same time, I'm still in awe at the fact the nomination is big for me. It's big. It's something that shows that people are watching, people are seeing your work. They might not be actually glued into a TV screen or something, but like the behind the scenes, it's showing something is going on. So it's a plus in terms of the portfolio I'm building for myself personally, but also on a professional level, it wouldn't have been possible without colleagues. I mean, it takes a whole entire village to build a frequency. As much as people would say it takes a village to raise a child, but I say it takes a whole village to build a frequency. So with the assistance of my colleagues and everything is kind of linked together within the departments we work for. So on a professional level, it shows that it was actually a great idea for me to venture into higher education, because clearly there's something coming out from there through these nominations, somewhere, somehow. And also, I'm very interested, regardless of whether we get the awards, we come back with one or none of them, but just the nomination alone gives me an excitement to say I'm quite curious about what's there for me, especially in the higher education space.
So under which categories were you nominated for?
Okay, I was nominated for the Young Emerging Women Leaders under academics.
In Bogota.
I think it's because of the whole will, training aspect of it.
True.
And then I was also nominated for Young Emerging Women Leaders under support staff.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's very
support
interesting.
services.
All right.
Okay, Ms. Sanili, so talking of will, can you share some of the memorable success stories of any will students you've mentored?
It's been quite a lot. I think years back, We started this in 2015. I think we had volunteers in 2015 when I officially joined the office. 16, 17, I think around 17. There's been a number, there's been a number of them. From the ones I can recall, two of them, one has joined a commercial station in Johannesburg, and then we've got one who's a content coordinator now for a radio station in Limpopo, through all of that. And then some of them are working for exceptional companies like brands and stuff. Others are part of, doing their part in terms of communication for organizations within government, and others are still looking for work, and I'm still in touch with majority of them because after they leave for their work integrated learning, a whole lot of them would make me a reference. So we keep tabs, and then others are still working, at getting, employed and all of that. The economy of the country is kind of tough and rough, but I manage sometimes to actually bring them back for their graduate programs, especially those that are still looking to kind of, help out, the work already, the ins and outs. So there's been many, it's been many, I think there's been many students who've graduated through that that initiative from the station. I can't really pinpoint.
Yeah. All right.
It has been an inspiring journey. So now I'm curious. I want to know, looking ahead, what are you most excited about in your academic and professional journey? And also, what goals do you hope to achieve in the future?
Sure. Wow. I've academically finishing the course, probably going all the way to PhD level. PhD level is the goal, but we're gonna get there walking on our knees. Things are going, because it's not easy juggling, school and work at the same time. So I'm hoping to go up to PhD level, if we speak of academically, and then personally, I would like to one day. Probably be within, I'm loving the political front in terms of probably being a communications officer somewhere in politics or within corporate, somewhere there in the political front, somewhere there.
Why in politics though?
I find them very interesting. I find them very interesting. It's a very good time now for all communicators to come on board, because every single day there's some dynamics, something new politically. So
clearly you're very multifaceted. I for one am very inspired. And I would like to ask for advice, any advice you'd like to give to young women or anyone in general who would like to pursue a career in media or communications or even higher education?
You have to love it first, because it's quite demanding. Love it. Get the necessary skills to actually do it academically. Go through, the courses and stuff on understanding the communication space, media, radio, broadcasting, or whatever it is. And then also, it's simple. Start. If you have a passion for it, start with no financial muscle. Start where you are with what you have, and then the rest will find you moving. Start.
Definitely.
Start.
Okay.
It's very inspiring. So, don't you have a desire maybe to write your own book? Because clearly your journey is inspiring. So there's so much to tell.
The desire is to write a dissertation now.
And finish your master's.
Yes, the desire. But in terms of a book, I haven't thought of it long term. But I think I probably wouldn't write a book about myself, but probably about my mom. She's my biggest, support system. Yeah, she has been my biggest support system in terms of being there for my son. I've got a 10-year-old. In terms of being there for my son throughout my motherhood journey, so on and so forth. So I'll probably write a book about my mom, maybe infused with kind of like my experiences in between. But I've never thought. But you guys can write a book about me. It's fine.
No, but I love that you mention your mother, because these are things that we often overlook, and these are people that play a very big role in our lives, So,
And I've seen that you are part of Miss Annual VUT fashion. So I wanted to ask, maybe are you into fashion? I've also seen you are part of the Miss Tropica pageant.
Oh no, it's that stems from when I arrived in the Val. Okay, I think maybe back then I was involved in a whole lot of pageantry. Back then I was Little Miss South Africa 1990. What?
Oh.
It was taking place in Port Elizabeth, so we've been doing pageants since.
You're so
school
versatile.
pageants. We came here. Yeah, then we came here. We kind of lost touch with pageants because you were growing up. And then when I got to the Val, I managed to I didn't even say no at the thought of being part of the organizers for our annual maVUTi FM because I'm very passionate about women empowerment. Yeah, so through that initiative of that annual maVUTi FM, we were able to get a lot of ladies on board, empowerment, actually teaching them and all of that. So it just comes from that. It's been something I was doing at such a young age, school pageants, growing up, doing, university pageants, and then also Miss Tropica. I was second princess for the Miss Tropica pageant. I think years back in 2015. Yeah, 2015, 2009 or 12. I can't even remember. Yeah.
You've been long in this job.
Yeah, jack of all trades.
Really inspired.
No, but it's been nice talking to you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for
I think,
having me.
we draw inspiration from you. I, for one, do. And,
We learned so much. Because, sometimes it happens, we are from different backgrounds, and of course, we draw inspirations from different environments. So it just takes one to, put it in themselves that I need to get started without anyone's help. So I just need to drive myself. I just need, to keep on pushing because your situation or your background doesn't define your tomorrow.
Where you are going.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's something that everyone should consider and never look down on themselves. Because, sometimes you see someone being up there, you're currently pursuing your master's and you look at yourself and you doubt if you're going to reach that. But having people like you, it's really inspiring, especially if you see it from a very young person, because if you see it from an older person, you'll be like,
It's like,
you're
it's bound to.
Yes.
It's bound to happen.
So when you see it from someone who is young, you really get inspired.
You hear a lot of time people will say, no, YPR, it's oversaturated.
It's oversaturated, yeah.
It's an
that's what you
oversaturated
get.
space, and
Where
don't
you gonna
guys,
work,
there's
yeah.
no such.
It's all about creating your own brand.
You create your own position.
Yeah.
How many artists, how many people are doing something there? How many, sometimes they would say even, the DJ industry, the entertainment, it's oversaturated. There's a spot waiting for you. It's just
definitely.
for you to occupy it.
Yeah, you just need to create your own space.
It's just waiting for you to occupy
Yeah.
it.
Man, but we wish you luck in your nominations
Thank
and the
you, guys.
awards and with your masters as well. So is there anything?
She has to bring it home.
Definitely, she is. She is.
It's so unfortunate that there's no voting taking place. I think they get to decide with the submission of portfolios and other stuff that they've requested that we've submitted to them. I think they get to decide that. But other than that, we would have filled up the whole amphitheater.
Yeah, we
Yes.
reach it.
Good luck with your academic endeavors,
Thanks,
Miss Sandy.
guys.
So,
Thank you so much for joining us, and that will be a wrap for us for maVUTi Pulse. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's our very first ever podcast edition capturing the beat of student and staff life.
Danko.
Thank you.